Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. How are you doing today? I hope you're having a great day so far. So today was supposed to be another segment of I read the Rewired Soul's blog, so you don't have to, but I have a feeling it's going to turn into just a rant, and honestly, this whole video is for Chris. I know he lies and says that he
doesn't watch the YouTube videos, doesn't read the comments, doesn't see the tweets.
We know he's lying.
I know you're lying, Chris.
Because the actions that he did on Twitter recently contradict all of the lies that he has put out on Medium, that he puts on his platform, stating that he doesn't pay attention to these things because it hurts his mental health.
That's a lie.
I know you're lying because you wouldn't have tweeted out this trash tweet and then followed it up with a trash blog. But before I even get into all of that, if you are new here, welcome. This is Journey to Find Kay, and I'm Kay. I like to talk about mental health and react to the Rewired Soul because I'm a mental health patient, worker, and advocate, and I want to use my voice, experience, my opinion to negate some of the negative things that Chris puts out on his platform. I also talk about other topics on YouTube that I feel touch on mental health and or addiction and recovery. So if you enjoy my commentary, you enjoy my videos, don't be afraid to hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the bell so that way you're notified every time I post a video. So you guys and Chris, I'm just going to address this video to Chris because I have a feeling I'm going to end up doing that anyway in this video, and I know my followers and the people who are watching this video, you will understand that you are also included in this conversation, but I need to speak directly to Chris because your recent behavior is nothing but short of trash, and I mean that with all gumption in my entire body. What you treated out was trash, your blog was trash, and you did it intentionally to cause this, which is a reaction, attention, and what makes me even madder is the fact that you used blackness, black people, black Americans as a way to manipulate people to click, to view, to read your blog, to talk about you, to have a conversation about you in this new year of 2020. And that is why I always say the things that you do is
trash.
And it makes me question your motives and your intents on this platform, because for someone to constantly have to say that they are on this platform to help people, if you have to keep saying it, then it must mean you're not really doing it.
I'm annoyed.
I'm annoyed that you had the audacity to get up on Twitter and post this tweet. You stated, as someone who is half black, can we just give white folks the pass of saying the soft N-word in songs? It's not that big of a deal. Hashtag James Charles is over party. Now, for people who are watching who don't know what happened with James Charles is over party on Twitter because you don't have Twitter or whatever the case is, James Charles is a beauty YouTuber. He was trending on Twitter because he apparently was seen in a video mouthing the N-word to a song at a New Year's Eve party. First, the outrage was because people believed he said it. Then it was because he had actually mouthed the word. And Chris you decided to get up on your Twitter and post that trash tweet. You decided to post that trash tweet on Twitter and acted like the next day that you didn't know you were going to get a reaction. Yes, you got a reaction, and you're going to get my reaction. That literally pissed me off. That made me so mad that I screenshot it and I tweeted it. I tweeted it and stated that I needed you to not try to give a pass on behalf of black people. I also commented and stated that I think you're trolling, but if you aren't, that you needed to get an ounce of self-awareness, just an ounce of self-awareness, because that whole tweet, this whole blog is nothing but you pushing a narrative. And what makes it even worse is you had the audacity to use the color of my skin as a way to anger not only just black people, but to get views, to get clicks, to get people to read your media. And you're going to pretend like you don't understand why people are mad. You don't understand why people are upset with you. So after this tweet and you see the backlash you get, you decide to double down and write a blog trying to state why it is okay for white people or for people who are not black to use the N-word. Are you kidding me? Because first and foremost, I, as a full black person, would not put out a tweet like that, which is inherently speaking for a whole race of people. I wouldn't do that because, again, we don't all think the same. We don't all feel the same. There are black people who don't want anyone to use the N-word, and there are black people, which is myself, who think only black people should be using the N-word. There are some black people who don't care, think everybody could use the N-word. You don't see us out here giving a pass to everyone because we understand as Black people that is our own personal opinion. So your tweet pissed me off because to me it showed that you don't understand what it is to walk around as someone who isn't white passing. Showed automatically that you are someone who does not understand what it is to walk around in the color of skin I have as someone who isn't racially ambiguous. You don't understand. But then your blog confirmed it because of certain statements and stories that you shared as a way to back up. You have an understanding of racism. You know what racism is. Not realizing you're just digging yourself a bigger grave. No, again, you did this for clicks and views. We didn't forget that. That's not forgotten. You did this for the reaction I'm giving you. And I'm giving it to you because this is ridiculous. In this blog, as a way to push your narrative, shared that you understand racism because you've seen it and you've had literal racists walk up to you and say racist statements. Even the N-word with the
hard ER.
Thinking, okay, that person, I knew their intent. They were racist because of they said that. White people just singing the N-word in a song, that's not their intent. They're not trying to be racist. Let me break down why your logic is flawed, why it's confirmed that it is an issue for you to even be speaking on this matter. The fact that racists felt comfortable enough to walk up to you and use the N-word with the hard ER confirms that you do not understand what it is to be half Black. You are not living it. You're not walking in those footsteps. So you have no right to pull out your half Black card to pass white people to say the N-word. Cause I'm sorry, true racists wouldn't walk up to me.
Use the N-word with a hard ER.
Unless I gave them some type of signal or made them feel comfortable to be able to use that type of language with me. So if that's the case, then you need to sit down and really self-reflect as to why these racist people feel comfortable with using the N-word with the hard ER. That's an issue. That's a problem. Because they sure wouldn't walk up to me thinking that's comfortable. And if they did, then I know that I'm doing something wrong for them to feel like that is a word that is appropriate to use around me. I'm sorry, I give off that aura. All people who are non-Black don't use those words around me. That aura, they feel that energy. They feel that try it. Because I will educate you on why you are not to use that word in my presence.
What does that say about you?
That tells me that as much as you want to pull this card off, you ain't pulling this card out every day. You're not walking with this card every day like a lot of biracial people are, like a lot of Black people are. We can't just pull the card out when we want to. You said it yourself in your blog. You're an undercover brother. They don't know. And you're not letting people know. That sounds like a little self-hate to me.
And I won't even get into the microaggressions you give to your dad. The issues you have with your father, who come to find out is the Black one, as you say.
The words you say, the statements that you use shows that you do not walk around with the struggles, with the understanding of what Black people and people who aren't white passing, biracial Black people deal with in this country. That's what you did. So what makes you think you have the audacity to try to pull out a half Black card now when, let's be honest,
A lot of people didn't even know you were half Black until you said that.
so what makes you think you have any way of saying, let's give a pass to white people or people that are not Black to say the N-word? Another thing you wrote in this blog that showed me that you really should not be talking about giving passes to anyone. You loved battle rap, but then you try to use that as an example of why people should be able to use the N-word in songs because they say hoes and other derogatory words, and said keep the same energy to rappers if you don't want white people or people that aren't Black using the N-word. That showed me you have no leg to stand on, because it showed to me at least that you truly don't understand the real reason why we don't want people saying that word.
I'll educate you in that in a second.
Let's get back to the battle rap comparison. With the battle rap comparison, yes, they use really bad language. They call each other really bad names. The B words, the F words, hoes. They'll say N words as well.
When they're Black,
But even in that setting, the rappers understand the words that they are able to say and not say. Till recently, it has always been something to where People who were not black did not say the word. I'm not taking away the fact that people grew up during certain time periods like myself where people who were not black were using the N-word with the A at the end. I grew up in predominantly black and Hispanic areas, and I grew up with Hispanic people using the N-word as well. I also saw people who took offense to it. As I got older, I started to take offense to it as well. But again, there are black people who feel totally different than me, who say no one should use it or everyone should use it. Back to the battle rap situation. When it comes to the battle rap, no one's saying that they say words that are great. They aren't. And there are people out there who have issues with battle rap, who don't like the fact that it was built off of using slurs and derogatory words. It's a whole different argument. But even in battle rap, if you see a white battle rapper, he's not using the N-word. Again, when it comes to battle rap, a lot of it you have to think about generational changes. Things have changed. I am the first to say that people that are close to my age, a little older, we had some things that were normalized that weren't okay. It wasn't okay for people to use the F words, to call people B's, to say hoes and all of that. It wasn't okay. But as a society, as we become more socially aware, we understand that those things in the past were trash. We shouldn't have been behaving that way. But it doesn't take away from people, even back then, who were using the N-word, were people of color or black. But you didn't see white rappers using the N-word even back then. You can't use that as a straight analogy. And again, with the point of keep the same energy with rappers, when we really look at it, the majority of rappers who are using the N-words are black or people of color who identify as Afro-Latino or
Black.
And again, in my own personal opinion, I believe black people, we are allowed to say it.
Period.
I am keeping the same energy. But a lot of us black people are trying to understand is why is it so hard for people to not say a word? Why is it so hard for people who are not black to not say the word? Why is it so hard for you to bleep it out of your whole existence? Why is it so hard? You know, it goes back to that old saying of if your friends jump off a cliff, does that mean you'll jump off too? Why is it always the excuse of
Because they're using it, why can't we use it?
why can't you just respect the fact that black people want to use the word for our own reasons and we don't want you to? That is why I had an issue with you trying to pull your black card and give a pass to people to use the N-word, because it shows you don't understand why we're so upset, why we take it so seriously. You're not feeling the repercussions of the racism that had been in this country and is still in this country to this day towards black people. Like you said, you're an undercover brother. So where do you get the room to say that white people have the right to use this word because rappers use it? Again, generally speaking, most of these rappers are black identifying rappers using these words. And if they aren't, they get called out. They get told about themselves. And that's where my main point is. You don't understand why we're so upset. You don't understand why we take it so seriously, because that word had such a negative connotation on it. We want to own it. This is our word. Just like you have other marginalized groups that have taken words that were once derogatory and defamatory against them, and they now own them and claim them and use them themselves. Why is it so hard for people to allow black people to just have that? Why is it so hard? And the fact that you don't understand that is one of the main points we don't give passes. That is one of the main points the majority of us don't want no one who is not black saying the word. That shows that you need to sit your butt down and not try to be giving passes out to people you don't understand, because you haven't had to sit here and feel the oppression of being a black person in this country, because you're white passing, because you're an undercover brother, because you have fostered an environment or circumstances where racists feel comfortable enough to walk up to you and say the N-word with the hard ER, because you sit here and you have your own problem with your identity. You don't understand what it feels like. You don't understand where we're coming from. Yet you had the audacity to just randomly out of nowhere remind everyone that you're half black, to give a pass to non-black people to say a word, but you obviously don't understand why we still hold so deeply to ourselves, why we're so upset when others use it, why we have an issue. No, you don't. Your blog showed that. Your blog showed me that you have more identified with your white side than your black side. You do not speak for us. You already know, guys, he ran from YouTube. He now has to find other ways to get traffic, to get people to talk about him, to pay attention to him. So he has to tweet trash stuff on Twitter and write trash blogs, speaking for a whole race of people that you don't even understand. Well, sure, you may be half black, but you sure don't understand what that means. You sure don't, because I'm sorry, if you did, no racist will feel comfortable enough to walk up to you and say the N-word with the hard ER. Your aura, your energy, your vibes would let these people know that's not okay. And I'm speaking from my own personal experience. My ex-husband is white passing, but best believe anyone who was not Black used that word was an issue. So for Chris, this is a straight up for you. Do not get on a platform and speak for the Black community. Don't do it until you understand your Black identity. You understand why this was not okay, why your blog was
Trash.
I need you to understand why it's not okay for racists to feel comfortable enough to say racist things to you. I need you to try to understand why you might have a little bit of an issue with you being half Black. I need you to really understand why it is so convenient for you to pull your half Black card when you want to, and the privilege that comes along with that before you ever decide to do this type of stunt again, because this whole thing was trash. You do not speak for the Black community. You do not speak for the half Black community. Hell, don't even hardly identify with the half Black community. I know this was news to me. I sit there and think, we're hating on you. We're downplaying your identity. You downplay your identity yourself by the words that you put in your blog, by the stories you try to use as a way to push your narrative. The fact that you pulled your half Black card to push this narrative is disgusting. It would take you more seriously if this wasn't one of the few times I heard about your Black identity. I would take you more seriously if you didn't share that racists feel comfortable around you. And if you don't understand how that is a problem, I'm going to have you really sit down with some Black people and have a real deep conversation. That you do not speak for a community that you don't even roll with, that you don't even identify with. Don't wait for opportunities to use your half Black card to push a narrative. I'm gonna end this out for you, Chris. Like you say on your channel, let's find solutions. So let me see if I can offer you some solutions to help you understand why this is not okay. I need you to sit down and maybe have some conversation with Black people. I'm not saying just become friends with them because they're Black. Maybe talk to some people in DMs. Maybe message to them on Twitter and say, hey, why are you offended? Get an insight as to why so many Black people are upset. Get some insight into your culture. Understand what it is to be Black in this country. Try to claim that half Blackness more often and more consistently. So that way, if you really do claim it, your everyday life, it's reflected on your platform. Because right now it feels like you just pulled it out for attention, for clicks, views, slaps on your blog, and that's an issue. I want you to sit down and really talk to yourself and try to understand why racists feel like it's okay to talk to you, why they feel like it's okay to use racial statements with you. Understand why it's a problem for someone who is half Black, who have racists feel comfortable to say N-word with the ER. I want you to really sit down and understand the privilege you have of being white passing, because there are plenty of people who are biracial or full Black who don't have that privilege. I want you to really sit down and research and understand, to get some perspective as to why some people don't want anyone who is not Black to say the N-word. Understand a little bit more about your half Black side. If you already do, that's great. Claim it, own it, be proud of it. Because blogs like this, statements like that come across to me, in my opinion, as if you're not proud of it. Because we would see that every day. You wouldn't use it as a tweet to get attention, cause an uproar. If you don't understand why it's a problem, I'm sorry to you. You don't speak for me or anyone who looks like me or anyone who identifies as Black, half Black, full, whatever. Because I know just by looking at the comments, there are plenty of people who totally disagree with that sentiment. And the reasonings in your blog show me that you don't understand. So until you do, when it comes to these types of things, I'm gonna need you to just... We know you're still here. We know you're on Twitter. We know you have a YouTube channel. You don't need to remind us that you're there, because that's what this felt like, a cry for attention. Because I know most people wouldn't want all this negative attention or backlash, But then again, we know with you,
all attention is good attention.
sorry you guys, this was such a rant. I apologize. I just kind of had to let him know this is not okay. You don't speak for me, at least. I know there's plenty of people out there with different opinions, but for as a Black community as a whole, I feel like it is our opinion that matters. If you don't care that people who aren't Black say the N-word, that's cool with you. If you do care and you don't want anyone saying the N-word, Black or non-Black, that's cool. My own personal stance is, I think if you're Black, you should use it because of the meanings behind it and us taking back that power. There's plenty of marginalized groups who have done the same thing. I just don't understand why it's so hard for us to be able to do it as well. And I definitely will not allow someone who doesn't seem to claim their Blackness every day or only pulls it out when it's convenient for them speak on my behalf or anyone who identifies as Black's behalf. So that's just my opinion, guys. I would love to hear from you guys what you guys think down below. Did you guys see the tweet? What do you think about the blog or how I summarized it?
It was trash.
I said it throughout the whole rant. It was trash. It was trash. He knew what he was doing. That's why I know he's a liar saying he doesn't watch these videos. I know he does. I know he's a liar saying he doesn't pay attention to the comments and stuff. This whole thing was trash. He showed it. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments down below how you guys feel. If you enjoyed my video and you haven't subscribed yet, don't be afraid to hit the subscribe button down below. Hit that bell so that way you're notified every time I post a video. Follow me on Twitter at JourneyToFindK. I be on there as often as I possibly can. Hope to talk to you guys later. I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.